I recently spoke about the show Adolescence on Rising Bharat Summit, and before that, I was on CNN Network 18 for talking about adolescence on national television. But the first time I heard of adolescence was when I started to suddenly get hundreds of messages from parents saying, "Have you watched Adolescence? Have you watched Adolescence? What is your view on it? What do you think?" And I said, what is it about this series? And I ended up watching it. And after I watched the series, I was actually a little surprised. I was surprised that why is everyone so shocked about what happened in the series? That a 13-year-old actually ended up killing a girl. And, it was a result of bullying. It was a result of the child getting angry. It was a result of the child spending too much time with phone. That was a result of a school that did not actually pay attention to what the child was going through and just wanted to give lectures. It was a result of a father who was busy. It was the result of many things. And to me, it was obvious that something like this can happen. But I think what really stayed with me, because so many parents had written to me, was that the family actually seems like a normal family. They actually have two children. The mother is a housewife. She actually spends a lot of time caring for the child. The father is spending so much time trying to earn, make a living, ensure the children can get the best education. It actually felt like a normal family. The kind of family that you and I live in. And I think that is what actually got to everybody. And that reminds me of something that happened recently, which is that a 13-year-old came up to me and said that my father does not let me go to tuitions alone. That I cannot go out of my house, take an auto or walk to my tuition alone because my father is worried about my physical safety. And I think that has become more and more true. That over the last 10-20 years, we have become extremely worried about the physical safety of our children while neglecting the mental health of our child. We are not okay with our child walking to tuition, but we are okay with that same 13-year-old having a smartphone or social media for hours on end. That somehow seems normal, but a child walking to tuitions alone is no longer normal. Now, if you remember, when we were young, so many of us had plasters or used to fall, we would get blood. I don't remember the last time I saw a child getting scraped or a child wearing a plaster. It doesn't happen anymore. We have become much, much more critical, much, much more safer about physical safety. But we have forgotten, meanwhile, that the mental health, the mental safety of children is also important. In the 4th episode, there is a scene where the parents are sitting together. The child has just admitted, Jamie has just admitted that he's guilty, that he's going to plead guilty, and they go up to their room and they sit down and they discuss, could we have done something else? Should we have seen this coming? And they come to the conclusion that yes, maybe we could have done something else. Maybe we should not have been okay with our child coming into the house, going into the room and just sitting with a smartphone. Maybe we should have paid more attention when he was angry. And I think that brings me to a very important point, that being good parents, being a parent with a good heart is no longer enough in today's world. And I used to run a company earlier, a company called GoCubes. I ran it for 12 years before we sold it to Aon Hewitt. And when I was a young entrepreneur in 2008, we hired about 20-30 sales guys. And now this first time I was hiring, I was about 24 years old. And a lot of them were not working out after 3-4 months. We were paying salaries every month. We had raised venture capital, but the sales team was not performing. And I had a mentor, so I went to my mentor and I said, our salespeople are so good and they're lovely people, but they're not able to get sales. And that mentor told me, fire them. If you think they're good people, then please keep them as friends, but you do not need to employ them as salespeople. And I realized that being good is not a good enough criteria to be kept in the job that those people were. Similarly, in the world that we live in, where the world wants our child to be a consumer, it is no longer enough to have good intentions as a parent. As a parent, we now need to have the skill to protect our child from agenda of the world. So that child doesn't become a consumer, so that our child becomes a creator, so that the smartphone does not make a child believe that happiness lies outside in likes. Happiness lies internally, so that we know how to say no to our child with love. For example, the father in that scene is wondering that my father used to beat me with a belt, and I promised I will never do that to my son, and he never did it. But that also meant that he actually said yes to his child more than before, because he did not know how to say no with love. If I don't scold my child, if I don't beat my child, that does not mean that I have to say yes to what the child asks for. I still have to learn how to say no to my child, no to social media before the age of 16, no to a smartphone before it is too early for the child. It is a skill that as parents we need to learn, or having good intentions as a parent is no longer good enough. Before these parents come together, there is this third episode where the psychologist is interviewing Jamie, and towards the end, it's a very intense episode, and in the end, Jamie has only one question for the psychologist. She's a girl, and he says, and he realizes that this is the last meeting he's going to have with the psychologist, and he says, do you like me? Do you like me? And she says, I can't answer that. I'm here in a professional capacity. But he's just absolutely into this. Does this girl like me? Does she think of me as a loser? Or, is there any element of me that she can like? Because earlier he said, girls don't like me because I'm ugly. And at least I did not see him as ugly. I saw him as a young, regular boy, who could be charming, witty, sharp, everything. But he saw himself as ugly. And this is what a lot of social media can do. Social media wants our child to believe that love is outside, that love is in likes. Love is in getting more people to like what you are doing. Love is in the comments that they put. That happiness actually is not internal. It is external, something to be got from others. And that is a big area where as parents we need to work with our child. Social media wants our child to be consumers, to consume more and more content. Whereas we want our child to be creators. When we consume a lot of content, we become dysregulated. And that is not good. That is where this child was. When he was angry, he did not know how to control himself. This is what social media, endless scrolling can do to our children, which is not something that we want. Last weekend we had gone to the beach, 4 or 5 couples and 5, 6 children, and we were all playing in the water, and I saw these 3 teenage girls who had come to the beach. They were all dressed very well, and for 3 hours when we were there, those girls did not enter the water. It was a beautiful white sand beach, in Divigad, 4 hours away from Bombay, 3, 4, 5 hours away from Pune. It was a Saturday evening. The sunset was absolutely stunning. But for 3 hours, those girls just stood on the side of the beach, clicked videos, clicked pictures of each other, took selfies, but did not enter the water. Now, why are they taking these videos and selfies? And I don't mean to judge their actions, but there is a high probability they're doing it and posting it online, where somebody sitting in the city believes these girls are having a great time, that their life is worth living, and that is what they want to show. But actually, they never entered the water. They did not feel the wave. They did not sit in the sand. They did not play anything, none at all. And this is what use of social media early is doing to a lot of our children. It is actually doing a lot to our adults as well, that that happiness lies in the likes that I will get from others. Happiness is not about being in the moment and enjoying life where I am. I need to show to others that I am happy rather than feeling happy and content in that moment. And this does not mean that technology is bad, or smartphones are bad, or laptops are bad, or social media is bad. Technology is good. It is because of technology, for the first time in history, if you have something to say, you can say it to the world. Because of technology, you and I are able to have this discussion, because of which hopefully our understanding of the children will evolve. But technology used early with the child increases the extent of the problem by 10x. The problem where parents are absent today from a child's life, that gap, when it starts to get filled by technology and as parents we don't notice and we don't have enough connection with the child, that is when the problem becomes 10x. Technology prevents our child from being engaged in the real world. Technology prevents our child from being present. And we can do simple things to prevent this for a young child. Don't use mobile to feed. Don't use mobile to calm a child. Don't use mobile to distract a child. When we do that, we set this pattern that whenever I'm feeling uncomfortable, a mobile, a reel, a video game, rather than a human being or rather than learning how to regulate my emotions, a device will come to my rescue. There are a lot of lessons in child psychology from the show Adolescence, and there's some that I want to share with you, some of them which I really truly loved. And one of them is that we should work with our real child and not with the imaginary child we see. The father used to spend time with Jamie and he used to take him to football and boxing. And he says that I took him to football, I took him to boxing, I tried to do everything. Whereas what Jamie genuinely loved to do was draw. That is something that was not appreciated by the parents or the father. Father wanted him to be like this strong guy, to be good at boxing or to be good at football, but Jamie was not. And when that bond got broken, when Jamie did not feel the love coming from the parent as well of accepting him as he was, is when he drifted to mobile and technology and trying to find acceptance from outside in the world. And we did not get that. That is where it led to murder and other things. And if you see, when Jamie finally accepts that he has done the crime, and that I think is beautiful, that he accepts he has done the crime, he actually sends his father a sketch. He has drawn his father and wishes him a very happy birthday. That when Jamie actually goes back to accepting himself after the child psychologist visit as who he is, he actually also goes back to drawing. A lot of times we want our child to be in a certain way, be like this, be like that. And when we have that in our head, what we do is we work with an imaginary child and we fail to see a real child. That is a lesson in child psychology we can learn from adolescence. The other thing is that children learn to deal with emotions from adults. The parents are talking that Jamie used to get angry, and we see time and again in the final episode that the father gets angry and upset for both big and small reasons. He's a good father. But from whatever has happened in his childhood earlier, maybe he learned it from his father, he actually tends to get angry and upset and communication breaks down. And this is something that Jamie picked from him. It is possible it is in the genes as well, but it is clear that a large part of this behavior Jamie picked from the father, of getting angry. And it is getting angry which led to the murder. It is in anger that he used the knife and stabbed the girl. If he was not angry, the murder would not happen. And the idea here is that children learn to manage their emotions by seeing how adults around them manage their emotions. It is our role as a parent to help our child manage their emotion. And if you see, it starts very young, because if there is a young child who's running and he trips, the child actually looks up to look at the adult and see if the adult is smiling, the child will get up and start running again. If the adult is looking a little worried, the child then starts to cry. From very early on, children learn to regulate their emotions from adults. And if we want our child to be a normal, healthy child, even if we were angry earlier as individuals, once we have children, we can take some time to change our behavior. What the makers of Adolescence have tried to do is actually, in different episodes, show various parts of the environment that Jamie grew up in. In one of the episodes, they actually show the school. And if you look closely, in the school actually says, oh, this did not happen in our premises. Why are we made responsible? The teacher is coming in the class and they're shouting at kids to try to get something done. And children don't care at all. There is no respect of the teacher, which is coming from the angle of, hey, I actually love this adult. This adult cares for me, and hence I should listen to this adult. None of this exists. Children are fighting, they're going about, and the school does not know any other way to manage children. The fundamental thing was that in school, it did not feel like teachers had a connection with the child. And teaching is a incredibly hard job. Managing 20-30 kids is not easy. It is genuinely difficult, pays are poor, but at the same time, we send our child to school for a lot of things, mostly for education. But I don't think that's the most important reason we should use on how to select a school for our child. I think the school that is truly important for our child is a school which sees our child, observes our child, which was missing in this entire school. And an example of this happened recently where, a parent wrote to me saying that the school wrote to the parent that your daughter is going to the bathroom more often in school. The 4-year-old daughter, that she's using the bathroom more often. Can you please check on it once? And his father said, "Humne ghar pe to we had not noticed this." And when they actually went to the doctor, they got it checked. The little girl had UTI. Now this might seem like a small incident, but this is the exact thing we want in a teacher who's interacting with a child, that they don't see a child as somebody jisko maths या science या कुछ और सिखाना है, that I have to teach that something. They see the child as an individual who has their own life, who observes our child. That is the most critical element we need in a school where a child is going to spend 6 to 8 hours of their life every day. There's a real incident that happened last week. Parents of a 15-year-old, they approached me and they said they wanted to talk. I asked why, and they said that their daughter is lost in the world of mobile. And they wanted to figure out what was going on. And when I went to meet, I thought the father will come, but I actually saw the entire family was there. The father was there, the mother was there, and the 15-year-old daughter was there. And we sat on the grass. It was about 9 in the morning. There was nice, beautiful sun. We sat on the grass. We started talking. And the father said that she has been hiding what she does. And she keeps seeing these reels and ordering dresses and keeps dressing up in them. And these are important years for her. She's in 9th class, 10th is coming. She should be studying, but she's caught up in this world of social media. And the mother also started to add a lot of such things. And then I asked them to pause and I asked the 15-year-old that, do you think what they are saying is true? And she said, yes, what my parents are saying is true. And I've tried to stop, but I'm not able to stop. When I try to change an account, I give them the password, but then I make another account. And I just find it very hard to stop. My hand keeps going back to Instagram or social media, and I want to change. And I was saying to this family that they are in such a wonderful space. They were worried, but I was saying to them, there's such a wonderful situation to be in where your 15-year-old daughter actually is willing to come with you, sit with you, and admit that something is off, that she's willing to change. There is such wonderful connection in this family, because there are these other incidents which are happening in India where 14-year-old actually put pesticide in the salt in the house because parents took mobile from the child. There is another 14-year-old who wrote log out on the mirror in his house and jumped out of the window. And the parent only found out because she was in the other room. She found out because she got a WhatsApp update on the group that somebody had jumped from the window. It was from there she found out that my son in the other room had jumped. And I'm saying this is where a lot of the world is. And you are in such a beautiful situation. And knowing this only, actually after a week, the father came back, said, thank you. That conversation actually brought us closer. It made us realize where we are. And our daughter, after that conversation, told us she does not want to use smartphone. She actually told us she has 4 different Instagram accounts. And she actually is now able to leave it because she no longer has a smartphone around her. And that actually is the main lesson that I had from Adolescence. That despite everything else that happens in the world, we can't control everything that is happening. The thing that is in our control is to ensure that we have a connection with our child. And we shouldn't wait for a child to get older to build our connection. This connection when a child is young can have automatically by spending time. A young child does not have a choice. They will need to spend time with the parent. An older child, if the connection is not there, can decide whether or not to spend time with you. So if we can spend time to build connection with the child despite how busy our lives are, that is the major moat, the major thing we can do to have a healthy family and a healthy child. Now, apart from this, what else can we do? There's some simple rules we can follow. No social media till age 16. No smartphone, only feature phone. If there is school work to do, give a laptop. Laptop we can't carry everywhere. A smartphone always remains in our pocket. If we're worried about tracking our child, give a smartwatch. That is enough. You can talk through the smartwatch. You can know where the child is. You can do payments from a smartwatch. All of that is possible. And tell your child that you will check the history of the laptop. There is no question of a child below the age of 16 saying, this is mine and you will not touch it. A parent should be able to say, no, you are our responsibility. We will install all the tools we need to ensure that you are browsing internet safely and securely. These are some rules we can do as parents to keep our child safe while letting them use technology. And when I finished watching Adolescence, it was about 2 a.m. in the morning. And there's some thoughts that came to my head and I wanted to put them down, that what are the lessons that I took from Adolescence, and I want to read them out to you. And the lessons I took were that I will not let my child below the age of 16 have access to social media. I will replace my child's smartphone with a feature phone, with a smartwatch, with a laptop. I will not be bullied by my own guilt when my child says, everyone has it. I will not think to myself, oh, I'm giving the smartphone for studying. If my child feels left out of groups, I will actually go to my child and help them understand why that is okay. If my child is quiet, I will not think that is okay. This is how children are. I will find time to talk to my child, to get my child to talk to me. I don't want a child who is good at what I want them to be good at boxing or football or cricket. I will see what my child wants to be good at. I will not work with an imaginary child. I will work with my real child. I am responsible for my child. I love my child.